All right, so that's new music. Let me know what you think. Hello, this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments, and thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. And today I want to talk about freeing yourself from good hair. Freeing yourself of the good hair concept speaks more to black women of African descent than it does black men. But this video is not about black American women. This video is about an Ethiopian woman that lives in the town that I live in and the transition that she made from good hair over a period of years. Now, this woman doesn't know that I've made this observation about her, but I have. She's not a friend of mine. She is somebody that I have observed as she goes about her daily work life. But I want to share what I observed because I think it's instructive. But first, I want to take it back to the Holy Bible, the 20th chapter of the book of Isaiah, that says, "In the year that Tartan came unto Ashdod, when Sargon, the king of Assyria, sent him and fought against Ashdod and took it, at the same time spake the Lord by Isaiah the son of Amoz, saying, Go and loose the sackcloth from off thy loins, and put off thy shoe from thy foot. And he did so, walking naked and barefoot. And the Lord said, Like as my servant Isaiah hath walked naked and barefoot 3 years for a sign and wonder upon Egypt and upon Ethiopia, so shall the king of Assyria lead away the Egyptians prisoners, and the Ethiopians captives, young and old, naked and barefoot, even with their buttocks uncovered, to the shame of Egypt. And they shall be afraid and ashamed of Ethiopia, their expectation, and of Egypt, their glory. And the inhabitant of this isle shall say in that day, Behold, such is our expectation, whether we flee for help, to be delivered from the king of Assyria. And how shall we escape? Now, this is about African people of Ethiopian and Egyptian descent being taken into captivity. But I want to focus on verse 5. And they shall be afraid and ashamed of Ethiopia, their expectation, and of Egypt, their glory. This is the King James Version, so it's written like a British person would say it. But still, I want to focus on verse 5. And they shall be afraid and ashamed of Ethiopia, their expectation, and of Egypt, their glory. Now, what is their glory? Okay, let's look at modern times. A lady's hair is her crowning glory. So, one of the problems or curses, if you want to call it, of being taken into captivity as an African descended person is that you are ashamed of your glory, your hair. And before black men start thinking, well, we don't have that problem, we don't have that problem, you don't have it now. But think back to Nat King Cole and James Brown and some of the earlier entertainers of African descent. What did they do to their hair? Now, the first time I saw the Ethiopian woman that I'm talking about, it was in a restaurant. She was a waitress in a restaurant. My friend and I had gone to have lunch together, and she was our waitress. When she came to the table, she's very pleasant. She took our order, and then when she brought the order back, I decided to ask her because I thought she was Somali. Because I've lived among the Somali people, and I found them to be pleasant as well, at least pleasant enough. So I asked her if she was Somali, and she said no, she was Ethiopian, but they look a lot alike, and that is true. The Horn of Africans, well, the people from the Horn of Africa have a different kind of phenotype than West Africans, and that's just in general because I think you can find Africans from all over Africa who look like other Africans from all over Africa. You can see West Africans that look like East Africans and East Africans that look like West Africans. But generally speaking, the regions have their own phenotype, and the people from the Horn of Africa look different than the ones from West Africa and Central Africa, generally. But I'm not the expert, but I'm just saying what I have observed. And if you Google Ethiopians, you will get a wide range of looks. Tyler Perry's partner or the mother of his child is Ethiopian, and she is beautiful. But the look that they most often like to present to the world is that of a light skinned, straight haired Ethiopian. But that's not the reality of what most of them look like when you see them. They look like a black person or an African descended person, sometimes with curly or a little bit more curly hair than what we have. But there are brown skinned black Americans who have angular, oval shaped faces with kind of curly hair who look Ethiopian, but the look they seem to like the most is the one with the very light skin and the straight hair. So back to the lady at hand. The first time I saw her, her hair looked as straight as this woman's hair. This is an Indian woman, but the Ethiopian woman's hair looked about like this. A few days ago, my sister and I were having lunch at the restaurant, and I noticed that she was still there. And I remarked, I'm surprised that she's still here because those waitresses usually move on. And it had been about 7 years since I had noticed her at the restaurant. So possibly should have could have gone and come back. I don't go to that restaurant that often, but I do go once in a while. And she was still there. And I told my sister, I said, that's an Ethiopian woman, but there's something different about her. And I kept watching her. She was not our waitress, but she was the waitress of the people sitting across from us. So I was trying to make the observation without staring, but I just noticed, I said, what is different about her? What is different about her? And suddenly I noticed what was different. It was her hair. Her hair was about the same texture as the woman on the screen. It looked like she had brushed it and pulled it back into a mini afro puff. And that was it. And I thought she has liberated herself from those chemicals. This is her natural hair. She's still a beautiful woman, but she just looked like, I'm just going to be myself. I like to think that she may have been influenced by the other young ladies in that restaurant. They wear their hair in braids, in twists. Some of them have wigs. Some of them have weave. Some of them have afro puffs, all kinds of styles. They have liberated themselves in a way that they can wear their hair any way they want to and be comfortable in their own skin. And I believe that with her working with them for all that time, she may have picked up on the idea that I don't need to put these chemicals in my hair, burning up my scalp and burning out her hair, because I know something about that. I like to think that she has freed herself from that concept of good hair and that she has decided to live in her own skin as the person she was meant to be. And I hope that that's what's happened. And I hope that happened for her. And I hope that the Black American women in that restaurant, there are several in there, I like to think that they may have influenced her because she's never going to be white, no matter how much you fry your brain and bleach your skin. And she didn't seem to have bleached skin. She had beautiful brown skin, like we do and like many of them do. Her skin didn't look like it had been bleached, but I know that her hair had been permed because I could see the natural hair. And it was a successful journey for her. Again, I hope the black women in that restaurant had helped her to free herself from the good hair concept. Hey, I don't know what you think about the video. Thank you for listening. Give me a thumbs up and have a great day.